Hi there, Laura Swan here. I am a women's healing and empowerment coach and a leadership mentor and trainer. And I'm the founder of Conscious Feminine Leaders Academy and Conscious Feminine Leaders Worldwide. I'm really honored to be here today talking with you about a subject that is dear to my heart. And this is actually a part two from a video that I did a couple of months ago called Sensitivity as a Superpower. So this is part two to that video because I had a lot of responses from that. I had a lot of questions that came through and a lot of people that wrote me and said that they related to what I shared, to being very sensitive and to not really knowing what to do with it. So as a recap, in that video I asked the question, is sensitivity a superpower or is it something that is a burden and a hindrance for us? And my conclusion is that yes, both. And that sensitivity can be very difficult. It can be very hard to hold the weight of the world and to feel the energy of people around you all the time and to feel so much at once. It can be overwhelming. And at the same time, that level of sensitivity actually allows you to be a compass for when things are off balance, for when things are not right, for when maybe a person might not be the best match for you energetically, either as a friend or a lover or a partner. That level of sensitivity is going to guide you in knowing how to set things right. You're a meter in a way, you're a compass for knowing what is to be brought back to balance and back to health. And you also have a very attuned ability to know what is needed in order to bring it back into balance. It's a matter of trusting yourself as a sensitive person to really allowing yourself to speak for that truth of what you know, speak for when things feel out of balance, and speak to that deep, sensitive intuition that you have that actually supports life coming back into balance in relationships with our children, with the world, with the problems of the world. Deeply sensitive people feel what's needed and they know. And it's developing the courage and the strength and the fire behind that knowing to bring it forth into the world that makes it a superpower. So that's the recap of sensitivity for the first video. And what I want to share in this one is that I've been in working with my clients and in the circles that I lead, and I'm surrounded with incredibly empathic, sensitive souls and incredible women and people that I work with that are feeling right now the weight of the world and the challenges that we're facing with all of the recent problems that we've had, from terrorist attacks to children being lost with, you know, with freak accidents to near kidnappings to police shootings. There have been a lot of things in the past month or two that have been brought to our awareness. Not that horrific things are not happening all the time, but there seems to be a bit of the veil has been lifted of insensitivity in everyone worldwide. There's been a veil lifted that so many things happened back to back, so many difficult things in the news over the past month, that it sort of cracked open the heart of all of humanity in a way that hasn't happened in a long time. And I'm noticing myself as a sensitive person that many people are asking, what the hell am I supposed to do with all this pain that I feel? What am I supposed to do with this angst? What am I, as a sensitive person, how can I possibly make a difference in the world when there's so much going wrong? And so I'm going to address that and I'm going to speak to that because I really feel strongly on this topic and I want to share what my vision is for what we actually can do. So my belief is that you have to find your unique expression of what your love is in this world. And that is going to be the only antidote to all of the difficult challenges that we face. Now, that may sound really simple and kind of like, oh, well, that's, great advice. How am I supposed to go follow that? And yet at the same time, I can't imagine anything else that's going to make a difference with the level of suffering and struggle that we face right now. This is twofold. I think that so many conscious people out there, so many beautiful spiritual people out there are doing great things by taking time for yourself and making sure you meditate and pray every day and send love, send energy to the places in the world that really need it. And I also believe that we're being called to a new level of action right now, like never before in human history. Otherwise, we're going to see these events keep happening. We're going to see the neglect and the unconsciousness perpetuating over and over unless we do something about it. So it's not enough anymore to pray, even though praying is so vital and important. It's so important to hold in our consciousness what it is we see, the vision for humanity and the vision for our world. It is so important every day for every one of us to take a few minutes and hold that vision in our mind's eye for a better world. It is critical, and it's not enough. There's an African proverb that says, when you pray, move your feet. And that is, I believe, the message of our time. That we're being asked to not just be in a beautiful, loving, conscious space, but to take that part of ourselves and find the places in the world that we can offer it. Find the way that your love and your gifts can be offered that are going to create a ripple effect of healing and change versus destruction and darkness. Because that destruction and darkness, especially if you're a sensitive person, it can be overwhelming. I can tell you that during the week where there was the police shootings and the child freak accident happened with the alligator, I myself was nearly debilitated during the series of when all these events were happening. I felt that weeping Buddha moment, like I explained in my first video, where I just wanted to go into a hole and I wanted to cry. And I want to say that that is an important part of this whole process. Being willing to let it all in, being willing to look at the news even though we want to avoid it, to being willing to actually see what is happening in our world and let it into your heart. Because I guarantee when those stories get into your heart, you will be motivated to take action in the antithesis of that death and destruction. And you will be motivated to find your flavor of love and light that wants to be set into this world. And you're going to do it. Because the suffering, when we really allow ourselves to connect in as sensitive souls to the suffering of others, we are moved to action. In fact, I think it might be the only thing that really does move us to action, is when you actually feel one and connected with this person who's being affected by destruction. That you can't sit by anymore when you see and feel that in the depth of your being. And I can only speak for myself, but what I can also speak for is the other amazing souls that I have worked with and that I know. I just did an incredible interview with a young woman, Yasmin Al-Bagari, who is 23 years old. She comes from Morocco. She comes from a place where it's really not normal for women to rise to the level of influence and power that this young woman has in such a short time of her life. That she has now created a company, a platform called Voyage, that combines and connects people from all over the world to help break down stereotypes, either through homestays and hosting people in your home that are from other cultures or other countries, or going to coffee or spending time together. She provided this platform, this way of connecting that people can come together from all over the world, and she is starting to get support from every angle of the universe. This woman was met with Obama this week in the White House at a young entrepreneurs conference. John Kerry is supporting her work. Her work is getting out there because she grew up in the Middle East and she saw the darkness and the destruction that comes from separation. And she felt the pain in her being and felt the effects of it as a young woman. And she decided that she was going to do something about it by creating the antithesis of an opportunity for connection and love. So, can we all do something like that? Yes, we can. And it doesn't matter what level you do it. You find the expression of giving love to this world that is unique and authentic to you, and you devote yourself to it with all your heart. That's our job right now at this time in human history. Not that we don't fight against at times. There is a time to fight against, but for the most part, fighting for what we believe in, the quote from Mother Teresa, she said, I will never, if you invite me to an anti-war rally, I will never, ever show up, but you invite me to a pro-peace rally, and I will be the first one there. Now, I don't know if those were her exact words, but that is what she said, paraphrasing, that I will show up on the side of the light, and I will show up to give to that energy, because that's what's going to create the change that we want to see, is when you stand on the side for what you believe in. So what is that? What is the cause for you that you want to stand by and you want to give yourself to? And do it. It doesn't mean you have to be a crazy activist, or you have to, be out there on the front lines, although you may feel called to that too. What is the business you want to create? What is the way of giving and serving, whether it be volunteer work, that you are going to be sharing your light and your love with this world and creating an impact and a ripple effect of love? Because this world needs it like never before. And we're being asked to look at some very big critical issues on our planet, from climate destruction and climate change to, the differences of cultures and races that are creating, these fighting and these mishaps and these killings and these shootings that just should not be. It's a sense of separation. And so what way can you find in your life to create a sense of oneness with those around you, create a sense of love and connection versus destruction and separation? And I believe we can all do this. You can all find our unique way. And if you spend your few minutes a day envisioning a better world and seeing this planet moving in the direction of love and light, especially as a sensitive person who feels and senses that with all of your being, when there is something difficult happening in the world. You can feel it before you even watch the news, because you're just off that day. You know when things are out of balance, and we can easily fall into the weeping Buddha mode and just stay there, and just stay in the suffering and stay in the pain, or get distracted, go watch a movie, go on a Netflix binge. Trust me, we've all done it, to distract from what we're feeling. Yes, we can do that route. And eventually, you've got to come out, and you've got to sit up tall, and you've got to find your unique way of giving back and being on the side of love and light in this world, especially if you are a sensitive person and you are so attuned to knowing exactly what it is that's needed in order to bring that balance back. So that's my invitation to you. There's a spiritual law that is seen across many different spiritual traditions and churches. It's very, common in the Christian church, this idea of tithing. This idea that you give 10% of your earnings back to the church, back to charity, back to a cause you believe in. And the first thing that a lot of people might feel is 10%, like, I can't even afford to take care of myself. Like, how am I going to give 10% of my earnings? I can't pay my bills. And the idea is not just a manipulation from the church, to get you to give money. The idea is that the more you give, the more you receive, and the more comes back to you. And I believe that with all my heart. There have been times in my life where I did not have any money. I had no money to pay bills. I had nothing to give. And I still found a way in myself to give something. And I was helped out of the depths of my pain and my suffering from the giving hearts of others around me. And I know that a part of the reason why I was blessed with so much love and support in my darkest times of suffering is because I was willing, when I was able to give, when I was able to find that space inside me to give, even when it felt like I had nothing, that I did. And it's not easy. Trust me, I know. As a mother of a toddler who requires at least 95% of my time and energy, and running a business full-time on my own, and having a husband, and having a sister and a niece and a nephew and all sorts of family under my roof, it's a lot. It's a lot. And having friends, and having also wanting to have a social life and wanting to take care of yourself, there's a lot that requires your energy. But I promise you, when you give of yourself selflessly also, not only, but also, whether it be through tithing and giving of your support to the causes you believe in, or getting 10% of your energy out there, giving and serving on the causes that you believe in, as a sacred activist for the sacred good of our planet, I promise you, miracles happen. Miracles happen. I've recently shifted a lot of the direction of my business from being only for profit to being for benefit, and really baking into my business model service and opportunities to give back to the women of the world who don't have the resources we do. And ever since I've done that, I've already seen how the abundance has grown in my business. And I chose to do it at a time when my business was not necessarily, thriving with millions of dollars. But the idea here is that when we give and when we are sensitive souls and we're able to feel into what's needed rather than contracting in fear and thinking that we have nothing to give back, that's the moment where you stretch and you find it in your soul to give and to put your love into the world, especially when you feel like shutting down. Give 10% of yourself back to the world every day at least. And if you can find room for more, give more. And I promise you, not only are we going to feel the impact in the world, but we're going to feel it in our own lives in the ways that we are richly, infinitely blessed in return. So that's my advice also to you, sensitive souls, and to those of you who are connected to sensitive souls, that giving, there really is something in being a giving and generous heart, especially when you feel like you don't have it, that it comes back, and it comes back tenfold. And that's not why we do it, but it's certainly pretty nice. And being able to find that unique expression of our love and our giving in this world is the only way that this world has a chance with all of the challenges that we're facing. So find what you believe in, find where you want to give your love, and with all of your heart, give yourself to it, and you will be richly blessed, especially if you're a sensitive soul, feeling that 10 times stronger. Thank you, and lots of love to you.